Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while, it's been a hot minute, I'm not gonna lie, but I am back today with another video. And before I start, I would just like to say hello to all of my new subscribers. Guys, I am on 102 subscribers. Now I know to obviously the massive people on YouTube that is like a blip, it's like absolutely nothing. But me growing my channel, my little baby that I'm trying to grow, it's just amazing that 102 people even want to watch me. I literally, when I started, didn't even know if 2 people was going to want to watch me, never mind 102 people. So if you haven't already, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below, and also make sure that you hit the bell notification in the corner of the screen as well, just to make sure that every time I upload a video, my video will go straight into our subscription boxes and it won't go amiss and awry somewhere, and that you don't miss any single one. No, that didn't make sense at all. So that you do not miss any of my videos and none of my uploads, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. And like I said before, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Let's grow this baby and let's just build it, because it's exciting me so much, guys. I am also in a different background at the minute as well. I'm actually in my mum and dad's living room because my bedroom is like an absolute sauna. My bedroom window is broke, so I can't open the window. That would have meant that I would have to film with the fan on, and you would have heard the fan in the background and it would have just been so irritating. So I am in the living room at the minute with all the windows and doors open so I can get some fresh air, because it is literally 29 degrees in England today, which is just like, well, we're not used to it, let's put it that way. To be honest though, we've literally had scorching hot weather now for 4 weeks, and it's just like, it's causing carnage. It is causing carnage in England at the minute. But we're going to jump straight into this video. So basically, I thought that I would come at you guys today with my experience of working in retail. Now, I'm going to split this content into 2 separate videos. So I'm going to have a part 1, which will be this one, and then a part 2, which will be my experience in retail in the jobs that I have worked in, and sort of like story times, and tell you of all the different things, because let me tell you, I have got some stories, some experiences. Let me tell you, I have got some stories about the stuff that I have witnessed, situations I've been in, people that I've had to work with within retail. And obviously retail is different in every single store. In all the different stores that I worked, I really enjoyed one. It was only one that I really enjoyed working. Oh no, sorry, 2. There was 2 that I enjoyed working in. The other ones we'll get to in the next video. In this video, this is sort of going to be a roundabout sort of explanation of like what to sort of kind of expect in general within working in the retail industry, and also the pros and the cons, and sort of give you a bit of background info very briefly of sort of the things that I did and the places that I worked, because like I said, all that information will be coming in part 2. So guys, I have got some notes that I put on my phone because I'm a prepared, YouTuber. I'm a professional, that, what I'm saying. So I've got all of my notes on my phone here. So basically, I'm going to do a very brief Has the lighting gone dark? Guys, as well, the lighting's going to go in and out because there's clouds, and I've definitely gone darker. We'll just have to work with it, guys. I might try and fix it on the computer when I'm editing this, if I can, if it doesn't, mess the lighting up too much. But we'll work with it. It is quite dark, you can see me. We're just going to rock with it. I have got a new camera that I am looking at to buy, and a new ring light and everything, but that is all to come. So I'm going to crack on with this video, even though I am dark, and that's really annoying me. So thanks, son. Thanks for that. Thank you. So I'm going to do a brief background about me. So I left college when I was 19. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew at that point I definitely didn't want to go to university at that time. I've been in education since I was 4 years old. I was 19. I was just sick of it. I literally had education rammed down my throat since the age of 4. I just wanted a break. I wanted to earn some money. I wanted to travel. I wanted to just earn money and just live my life. So I knew that I had an interest in fashion. I'm a very creative person. I'm a creative person. I'm not really sort of like someone who's interested in like economical sort of like, I don't really know what you would say it, sort of like your sort of like everyday normal, I put in quotes, sort of jobs. I always knew that I wanted to do something really, really creative, really, really fun, something interesting. I want to work for myself. I don't want to work for anyone. I want to be the boss. Hence why I love doing YouTube, because I work for myself. I also have a separate job as well. I have a 9-5 job along with doing YouTube as well. But I hope that one day, because of you amazing people, that I will be able to do this full-time one day and just create content every single day for you. So again, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, do not forget to share this video, and make sure that you give it a big thumbs up as well. And yeah, let's just build it together. But I'm sidetracking again. So back to me and leaving college. So I was like, right, I'm gonna try and look for some jobs within the retail industry, because I like speaking to people at times. I'm definitely a people person. I enjoy helping people, and you know, I just thought it was something that I was good at. I was good at advising people what looked good. You know, I am told anyway that I have quite good fashion and things like that, and I like to take care of myself, and people always ask me opinions on what they're wearing and everything, like all other things as well. So I was like, right, oh wow, are we 8 minutes into this video already and I've not even started? Wow. Right, not the problem. I got a job within retail. Let me just go back to my notes, what I wrote down. Honestly, writing notes is the best thing. Yeah, so I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I went into retail. So all the jobs that I had, I've worked in, let me see, I think it's 6 or 7 different retail jobs. Also as well, just sort of like another bit of backstory, is all the retail jobs that I worked for, the brands, the companies, they were all classed as high-end. I worked in a supermarket as well, and that was also classed as a high-end supermarket. So by that I mean it wasn't like the cheaper stores, it was more the higher end, more the more luxurious side of the food spectrum, if you know what I mean. I've also worked in loads of different types of retail, so I've worked in clothing, I've worked in shoes, I've worked in health stores, I've worked in supermarkets, I've worked in independent clothing boutiques, I've worked in massive chain of stores, I've worked in department stores, and I've also worked on concessions within department stores as well. That, if you don't know what a concession is, I will get into in the part 2 of this video. So that is my brief kind of like background of retail, even though it wasn't that brief. But I mean, believe me, part 2 is going to be a story time. So, the pros and the cons of working within the retail industry. Now, I could only find 2 pros of working in retail because of my personal experience. It wasn't the best, and in all honesty with you, I don't regret doing what I did with working in retail, because I saw so many different aspects of the industry. I worked with a lot of different types of people in very diverse different stores, which really interested me because I love meeting new people and learning about like their cultures and their different type of lifestyles and things like that. So that was like a pro as well, was I got to meet lots of different people from all different walks of life, and I've also made some really good friends actually from it as well. But again, I'll come to that in part 2. So the pros of working in retail personally for me were that I can't even remember now. Oh. The pros were that it was good that if you like people, like I say, if you're a people person and you enjoy talking to people, helping people, and sort of like enjoying other people's company throughout the day, that is one of the pros. And also as well, just the second one that I could think of for working in retail was, depending on the store that you work for, on the brand, you can sometimes get really, really good discounts on things. So the last retail job that I had, I got 50% off everything that was full price, so I would get half price on anything that was full price. The only problem with the last store that I worked in, retail wise was that I didn't really like any of the shoes that they sold. There was a few Chelsea boots and a few loafers, but apart from that, there wasn't anything really that I was that fussed for. So it depends if you actually like the clothes that you're actually selling and the company that you're working for. But I did get a few pairs of nice Chelsea boots and loafers, like I said, but personally for me there weren't that many things that really sort of I liked, so that wasn't really a pro for me. Now we get to the cons, and if you can see, there are all the cons of working within retail. Now, like I've said, I'm going off my personal experience. Your experience with working in retail could be completely different to mine. I'm not saying that working in retail is a bad thing. I did it for 5 years, guys. Definitely a lot longer than what I expected to work in it. Yeah, definitely didn't expect to be working it for 5 years, but you know, life just gets busy and you just don't realise where time, you honestly do not realise where time goes, especially when you're someone like me and you're very goal driven and you've got your mindset and all these goals that you want to achieve, but at the same time you've got to earn money, so you've got to work to earn the money to actually progress onto the thing that you actually want to do, which is what I've done with all the jobs, right, and the one that I've got now is what I'm doing still now to progress and actually achieve what I want in life. So the cons of working in retail, the first one is what is the most well-known one, which anyone will ever tell you with working in retail, and that is that the working hours in retail are ridiculously unsociable. You will literally be working weekends, bank holidays. You are guaranteed you'll be working at Christmas, so that could be all throughout December, the first week of January or the first 2 weeks of January, depending on what your policy in the company that is that you work for. I've never known any retail brand where you can book holiday in December. You are told in your interview that obviously December is a blackout period and that you cannot book holiday in there, which for me personally, I did know and was told and expected before I worked in retail, but as a family, we usually used to go away in December for some winter sun, which I will be doing this year, thank the Lord. 5 years without doing it, and I'm finally doing it this year. I can finally do it, but for the past 5 years, December was just not a time that you could book holiday in, which gutted me personally, because obviously, like I say, I'm a person, you all know, I like winter to sun. I get quite bad seasonal affective disorder. It really affects my mood a lot, so going away for some sunshine really helps that. You will also be working late nights depending on what store it is that you work in. If you work in a department store or a shopping centre, which I did in 2 of my retail jobs, the opening hours are always later than an independent store, simply because they have to go by their company opening hours. So the company that I worked for last in retail, the solo store of that brand shut at 6 PM, but we didn't close till 9 PM. And that's the difference when you work in a department store, because I worked on a concession in a department store on my last retail job, which meant that we had to close the same hours as the department store. So even though the brand itself, the independent store of it, shut at 6, I had to stay up until 9 and work till 9 o'clock because they were the opening hours of the department store. You will also be having to work in Easter as well. Now, Easter and bank holidays and late nights, you can swap shifts and you can book them off as holiday, but it's not always as easy and as simple as that. It depends on your manager that works with you. It depends on how lenient they are and like how they are as a person, but it's not always the easiest thing to do, because they will always come up with some kind of excuse. They'll say that they're understaffed or that they need you or it's a busy period or something like that. The next thing about the hours are the Christmas hours. Now, anybody that works in retail dreads Christmas, simply because it's usually always busy, although the industry now, Christmas time is not as busy as what it was years ago, and this is something that I will come on to in part 2 of this video. but the industry is changing because everything now is online, because people don't have the time, they can't be bothered, they can't bother with people and crowds if they think it's going to be busy. So a lot of people now shop online, and it's more the click and collect departments and the delivery services that are actually more busy than actual stores these days, because people just don't have the time these days or can actually be bothered to actually go into stores and purchase things now. It's so much easier for a person to sit on the sofa or be at work or be on the phone on the go somewhere and order something online and get it delivered the next day. One of the next cons of working in retail is that most retail wages are minimum wage. Now that depends on what your age is. So when I started, I was 23 and my wage was low. It was, I think it was £7 an hour, which is, at 23, I think was the minimum wage. And then, but don't quote me on that because I know that it has changed now and it has gone up, the minimum wage has gone up. But this is just what I'm going by from when I worked there. So my last retail job that I had, I actually took an over £1 pay decrease from the job that I had before the last one that I left this year. But obviously again, I'll get back to that in part 2. So the pay is notoriously low. It's minimum wage, so if you're 25 and over, it's £7.50. When I left my last job, I wasn't on minimum wage anymore because my company did give us a pay rise. It wasn't a lot, I think it was 40p. No, it wasn't even 40p, 30p an hour pay rise. That in itself is just a slap in the face for what you do. Horrendous. Really, really bad pay. But then again, like I say, it depends on the company that you work for. I'm just going by my experiences. But I've never known anyone who was a sales assistant, because my role, in which I probably would have said to you, should have told you before, was I wasn't a manager and I wasn't a supervisor. I was asked to take them roles on, but it wasn't worth the stress for the pay. The pay was nowhere near enough, so I always declined to be a manager or a supervisor, even though I was always asked all the time, and I always declined it because they would never give me the pay rise that I wanted. So I declined the job because I just thought, I'm not going to take on extra stress for a couple of pound more an hour. I'm just not doing that. And the salary of a manager as well in a department store on a concession is actually, it's diabolical. It's for what that you've got to do. It's quite honestly, it's diabolical, and it's an insult, and that's just what it was, because I know how much my manager was on the concession that I worked on, and it was, quite frankly, a disgrace. Then the next one is, like any job, you get new members of staff, people leave, people quit, you know, people move on. Retail is a place where it really is renowned for a big staff turnover, because I use all my jobs that I've done in the past and will do in the future until I work for myself, because like I say, YouTube is what I want to do full time. But up until that point, I obviously need to work another job along with YouTube, because obviously I've got bills to pay and I have a life that I need to like pay for. But I use jobs as a stepping stone, so for me I just think that every job for everyone is a stepping stone, because everyone's going to move on eventually, unless you work at a place all your life. If that's what you choose to do, that's fine. But retail does have quite a big staff turnover, so you will always find that most stores are understaffed, and the company that the staff work for, quite frankly, need to pull the finger out and employ more staff and stop putting so much pressure on the few staff that are there to do the job of other people. They need to get more staff in, because I've worked in stores where there's literally no staff, and the pressure of other work is put on you along with the work you've already got to do. So you've got like double, triple, quadruple the amount of work because there's no staff to do it, which any company, no matter if it's retail or any other industry, staff move on. You should have a backlog of CVs. It shouldn't be an issue of we're understaffed. It should be of, right, that person's left, we need to replace them, not that person's left, let's leave it 6 months. In retail, mostly, I've only ever worked 2 jobs where I've had set times and days. Retail is usually rota based, and by that means that it is shift work. It's not set times and days, so your working times and days change from week to week, fortnightly to fortnightly, or month to month, which is not at all ideal for someone like myself who has got other things going on and isn't available all the time. I am a very busy person and I have a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes of everything, because like I said before, I have a lot of goals and ambitions and I'm trying to reach them. So YouTube being one of them things that I'm trying to accomplish and establish myself on. So the amount of times that I've tried to sit down like this and film a video, and I've literally set all my lights up, got all the background done, I'm ready, I'm sat down in front of the camera, just about to film, phone goes, hi Dan, we need you, so-and-so's not well, we've had to change the shift, why aren't you here? And I'm like, what do you mean why I'm not here? Oh, the rota's changed. No one's told me the rota's changed. What do you mean the rota's changed? That's something else as well. People change the rota and a lot of the time will not even tell you, but then they'll blame you and say, well, you should have checked the rota. But if you're someone that, like me, worked part-time in some of the jobs that I worked, if you've been off for 3 days or 2 days and no one's contacted you that the rota's changed, how are you supposed to know if you're not at work that the rota's changed? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The blame is always passed from person to person to person all the time. No one will ever take the blame of anything that ever happens. So obviously, like I say, if you are someone who maybe has got children, or if you've got other jobs, or if you're working on other projects, or whatever the case may be, that you've just life in general that you've got going on, shift work is not ideal. Now, shift work to a certain degree I do actually like, because when it's shift work, you know, the job that I'm in now is 9-5 Monday to Friday, so I've got evening and weekends off, and bank holidays, Christmas and New Year. Hey, what are you saying? Which I've never had, but at the same time as well, because I tried to get positives out of everything, I did enjoy having midweek days off. Now, in the job that I'm in now, I can have a midweek day off, but I would have to use a day of holiday, whereas obviously before, if I worked a Saturday or a Sunday, I would have a Tuesday and a Friday off. So I would have days off during the week, which I actually like, because it's generally quieter everywhere because most people are at work. I do like some aspects of shift work, but the reason why I've picked a 9-5 is solely so I can literally sit down and film videos for you guys. I've literally done it for my channel and for you. I've literally changed my job so I can fit YouTube around my job, because that's my aim, is to be a full-time YouTuber. That is my aim, that is what I want to do. So I've got a new job in which I know that at 5 o'clock I'm done with work, weekends I'm done with work, so I can film, I can edit, I can get admin things done behind the scenes of YouTube that you guys just don't even really need to know. It's just like admin things, you know, with companies and brands and emails and things like that, so I can get all that stuff done along with editing and filming as well. So it's going to be mental, because I've literally now got 2 jobs. I've got my 9-5 job, and then I've got YouTube as well. So I've literally got 2 jobs that I'm trying to work around each other, but it will be fine, because like I say, I can fit all this now around my 9-5 job, which is going to be handy. But that's another like con of working within retail, is the shift patterns always change, and if you've got plans in 2 weeks time and then they change it and it's like, well, no, I can't do that because I've got this planned, and then they'll be like, well, can you not change it? And then it just causes just silly things that can be resolved, they at times make big deals out of that doesn't even need to be made a big deal out of. Another thing as well, which is not for every person that works in retail, but in my experience within working in retail, on my days off, I was always contacted by my work, and it really annoyed me because my days off are my days off. My days off are for me to get this done, to get my other work done. Now, none of the retail jobs that I worked in knew that I did YouTube. I kept it separate because it wasn't related to anything, contracts, whatever, for lots of different reasons. So yes, okay, they didn't know that, but I had every day, I had stuff, I had my life, I had life that I had to be getting on with. I had things, important things that I had to be getting done. You know, I don't just do YouTube as well. I want to do other things as well, non-YouTube related, and you know, I have a lot of things that I want to do and achieve, and when you're there trying to do it, you know, I used to be in hospital appointments and I'd be getting a phone call for like silly things or not even important things, just like, do you know where this file is? I'm sorry? I'm sorry, what? I've not been in 4 days, babe. Don't know where your file is. Don't care either. I'm in a hospital appointment. What are you doing? They would ring. They would leave voicemails, missed calls, emails. I'd be like, what is going on? I get WhatsApp messages, iMessages. I'm like, wow, you all need to relax, because when a person has a day off, a person has a day off. If it's not important, work it out amongst yourselves. Don't be contacting me every 2 minutes. Not acceptable. So this next one is as well, like I say, it varies, you know, not everybody is like this, but I have realised with working in retail that supervisors think that they are God. They think that they are a god. They honestly are on some massive, massive power trip. Now, obviously, not all supervisors are like this. I'm just on about my experience within the jobs that I've done. But I will discuss this more in part 2. But a lot of supervisors just are on this power trip and are rude and really need to learn how to speak to people, because my last supervisor, let me tell you, the stories I've got about that woman you will never believe in your life until I tell you. You literally couldn't make it up. So that'll be in part 2. Right, another thing as well, which is quite important, which is a topic that I definitely wanted to bring up as a con in this video, and I need to start wrapping this up because this video is 40 minutes long. Wow, I need to edit this down. Most contracts in retail are part-time, and the reason why companies have part-time contracts is because they can get away with paying you less money, they can get away with giving you less holidays, they can get away with it, like cuts the cost of a person working a part-time contract compared to a person who works a full-time contract. Now, obviously from company to company it varies. I fully understand that. None of these points that I am making stand for every store. I just want to reiterate that as a disclaimer. I'm not saying that every company and retail brand that you will work for and all the other companies in the world are like this. This is just my personal experience in the jobs that I've had. My experience, nobody else's, just mine. So part-time contracts are usually what you will get within retail. So what they'll say to you is, it's a 12-hour contract, but there's always overtime that you can do. So the legal contract that you sign is 12 hours, but in actual fact, you will probably more than likely work more. But the reason why they give you a 12-hour contract is for the legal side of things and cost cutting, because all companies in the economy today are trying to cut costs and trying to bring down their costs so they can make more profit. It all goes to do with like what they want to achieve and things like that. So that is that. It's very, very rare that you will ever get a full-time retail contract. The only members of staff in any retail job that will really ever get a full-time contract is a manager. And apart from that, even supervisors will get part-time contracts. But what will happen with the supervisor is, if the manager goes on holiday for 2 weeks, the supervisor gets all the manager's contracted hours. Now, in my job, they always said to me that when our manager wasn't in, that her hours would be evenly distributed between all members of staff. That never once happened. It was always unfairly done. I never got overtime, but again, that'll come in the next video. So, part-time contracts as well, and also, like I said, I never got overtime. I just didn't, but again, that'll come in the next video of part 2. Bugging you about different things, I've already touched on that, about contacting you when you're not in, you know, when you're in important meetings and you've got appointments going and they're ringing you and texting you and blah blah blah. Also as well, something else that I want to touch on is, and this can happen in any workplace I suppose, but I have noticed within retail, and I found it more in the cosmetic. I've never worked in the cosmetic side of retail. I've always worked in like supplements, fashion, food. But I have found that cattiness and sometimes clickiness can happen. Now, I'm a person where I can get on with anybody and I just play the level field and stay very Magnolia and just get on with everybody, and I go to work, I do my job, I leave, that's it. Once my day is done, and I leave. I don't get involved in drama, I don't gossip, I could not care less about what anyone has got to say about anybody else. I am a positive person, I am a nice person, I do not get involved in any of that. I've literally said to people before, if you're going to be going on about somebody, please don't get me involved. I don't want to hear about it, I don't want to know about it. I like everyone, I get on with everyone to a certain degree, if you know what I'm saying. But them stories will come, and how that sort of like evolved. Like I say, I don't want to get involved in any of that. Some things in my past jobs have happened and they're going to sort of like be in the story time in part 2. But yeah, so they are basically my experiences that I found within retail. Like I said to you guys, please don't think if you're you know, wanting to start in the retail industry, please don't let this video put you off in any way, shape or form. I'm just giving you my personal experiences and what I've gone through, because obviously, like I said, it's going to be a part 2, because, you know, there was some, you know, rough rides in some of them, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen for you, and that's going to happen sort of like in the place that you work, but, you know, a couple of situations did happen for me, and that's just my personal experience. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen to you, but yeah, so I hope that you guys sort of found some of this information that I've given you useful. I would love to hear some of your guys' experience within retail. Please leave it in the comments bar below and I will reply to as many as I can. This video in no way is meant to be negative, so please don't take it as that way. It's just meant to be more informative, and I'm just talking about my experience in retail, and just that it honestly wasn't really the best, and I don't regret working in retail, but I wish that I would have got out of retail a lot sooner than what I did. But like I say, I don't work in retail anymore, so I thought this is the perfect time to sit down and film this video, because I can give you guys like some tips and things like that, and just sort of give you a heads up of how some things sort of like are with like contracts and rotas and things like that. I would say that retail is a good industry to be in if you're going to be in it short term, if you're doing it part-time on the side like I was, if you're just doing it again like I was just to get you to the next step, save some money up. You need to save up for something, so you get, you know, a part-time or full-time or whatever the, you know, the contract may be. But I just hope that it was useful for you in some way, and I've literally been filming for 47 minutes. Wow. So I hope that you found this video interesting, guys. It's a different one. I want to start filming lots of different kinds of content. I've got some really good content videos planned, because now I've got this new job, I now have the finances to actually buy the things that I want to start filming, I want to start doing. Is it worth it? I spent this amount on this website, all different ones like that. I'm really super excited. Like, I tested this clothing brand, I tested this product, I'm going to come back with more reviews, I'm getting a new camera, I'm getting a new ring light, I'm going to get a new vlogging camera, I'm going to start vlogging for you guys. I'm travelling quite a bit in the next 6 months, and I'm going to take you guys along with me if I can, because I'm going to be going with people who this is not their world, that, you know, being on camera and things like that, it's not something that they're used to. But I will definitely try and get as much footage as I can for you. And like I say, guys, please hit the subscribe button below. Let's build this channel together. I'm so excited and so happy that even 102 people watch me. Hello as well to all of my new subscribers. I'm so happy that you've joined the fam. Please make sure that you tell everybody to subscribe, share it. You know, I just want to build it together and just literally evolve, and I want to smash it. I just absolutely want to smash this YouTube game and just, you know, just grow. So please don't forget to subscribe, and make sure that you do hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you do hit the notification bell button as well. Make sure that you like this video, share it, give it a big thumbs up, and I hope that you all enjoyed it. And I will see you all in part 2 of this video. So until then, guys, have a really, really good day, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!